Hi there. I received this question through Facebook and wanted to go over, how I would answer a question like this. So the question is asking, it gives you the first three figures and asks you to identify the pattern. Easy enough. It adds 3 dots to each figure, but then they want to know how many dots are in figure 100 and 200. There is obviously some algebraic expression you can use to solve this for any figure, but my brain isn't finding it. So let's take a look at this. And yeah, you're exactly right. Easy enough. It adds 3 dots to each figure. So, in this figure, you've got, 4 dots, and that's figure 1. And figure 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the third figure. So it's what's being shown here is great. All right, figures, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10, and then the number of dots in each of those figures. So a couple of things. This question is asking you about a sequence. Okay. And a sequence is basically the same thing as a linear equation. So it's the same concept as an equation, okay? And so, I'm going to use the variables for an equation. I'm not going to use the variables that you would use for a sequence. I think you said that, that this person was in 6th grade, so let's just keep this simple and use x and y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let x represent the which figure? So the figure number, all right? So the figure number, and then y is going to represent the number of dots, okay? And we want to know how many dots are in figure 100 and 200. And so as I look at this, as I look at your work right here, what I notice is if you think of this as like an XY chart, all right, your X values are increasing by 1 each time, okay? And your Y values are increasing by 3 each time, okay? And so, what that gives you is that will give you your rate of change or your slope. Remember that your slope is your change in Y divided by your change in X. All right, and what we're doing here is we're labeling the change. And since it's constant, we have a linear pattern. So m, our slope, is equal to 3 over 1. Okay, so m is equal to 3. All right, and so, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write this out in the form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we have our slope, that's 3. The question is, what's our y-intercept, what's our b? Well, what we can do is we can come in here and we can go backwards with this pattern. Okay, let me erase this part right here. And let's think of figure 0. All right, figure 0, if we added 3 to go down when the x values are increasing, if we want to go backwards, we would subtract 3. All right, and so going the other way by 3, that would bring us back to 1, okay? And this is our y-intercept. This is our b value, okay? And so what I want to do then is just write out my equation as y equals 3x plus 1, okay? And so that's how you get that. If you identify that this is a linear pattern, this is just one way to do it. There is another way. There's a formula that's used when you're dealing with sequences that's kind of specific to this. And can't remember it off the top of my head, but I do this kind of stuff all the time. So with that, all right, we want to know, well, how many dots are in figure 100 and 200? So for figure 100, that's x is equal to 100. Well, what's y equal to? The number of dots. So we're going to plug that into our equation, and we're going to get y equals 3 times 100 plus 1. All right, so then y is equal to 3 times 100 is 300. Add 1, and so we get y is equal to 301. All right, when we've got say x equals, what was it, 200? All right, the figure 200, then how many dots do you have? Y is equal to what? And so plug that in. So you've got y is equal to 3 times 200 plus 1. So y is equal to 600 plus 1. And so y is equal to 601. All right, and that's how you would go about that. And, you know, if you had to answer this question in words, you would say, you know, figure 100 has 301 dots, and figure 200 has 601 dots. All right, and that's the idea. So that's how I would approach that. And please reach out if you have any questions about this. Feel free to, I'd be happy to answer them. So please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.